Welcome back to Drams and Dragons,
Ooh.
the podcast about fantasy. Whiskey usually, not tonight, I think. But usually we will get back to whiskey. I swear to God, we're also a whiskey podcast now.
We're just in our 40s,
no
man. We're in our
fantasy.
40s.
Yeah, we're recovering from some health shit. Speaking of which, sorry we've been gone for so long. Been sick, a lot of sickness, and you know, among other things. But yeah, welcome to Drams and Dragons.
Yeah, dude, you wait like 10 years, it'll be a show about our health issues in addition to I have a colonoscopy today. It'll
Uh-huh.
evolve into that. It's good to know we got places to grow into.
Drams and Dragons and Diseases.
These the
Yeah.
alliteration.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, tonight we've got a good one. I think big juicy topic, current
So juicy.
events, current events.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing tonight, man?
We're doing well, Gus. Finally feeling better after a couple weeks of just not feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and our topic's been burning a hole in my brain the whole time.
Yeah.
So,
Ben, as soon as the news broke, I was like, we got to do a show about it. And then it just kept getting pushed because of health shit. But
mhm.
in the meantime, it's almost in some ways a good thing that we didn't do the show immediately because so much other shit has come out about it
Yeah.
since the initial news broke.
Mhm.
And what we're talking about tonight is the Wheel of Time show, the Amazon show Cancellation,
Mm.
and all of the shit that's come out of that. There's a lot to talk about, but that's ultimately the main subject. Everything we're going to be talking about connects back into that. So if you
Yeah.
haven't heard by now,
Mhm.
which probably you have, if you're somebody who's going to listen to this show, you've probably heard Wheel of Time show got canceled back in late May. So shortly after the third season finished airing. I don't just want this show to be like a victory lap.
Oh, we'd never.
We would, but we're
Be
not
a
gonna.
thoughtful recounting of the.
Yeah, because
Yeah, yeah,
we've bitched about it, we've complained about it, we ranted about it, we raved about it, we shat all over some of the elements and decision making, and while praising some other elements of the show. But so
to
I
be
don't
fair
want
and
to take.
balanced here.
I want to
Yeah,
be fair and balanced. Yeah, exactly. I don't just want to
Mhm.
be like, you know,
Yeah.
just gonna,
I'm with you.
fair
I'll
and
do my
yeah.
best. Yeah, I'll do my best.
Yeah, and there's some
Yeah.
stuff I gotta kind of rant about tonight as well, but I think it's complicated. I think it's a big subject, and there's some things that make me mad, some things that make me sad,
Yeah. Yeah.
some frustrations. But yeah.
I did want to do before we start. How are you, man? I got to give my
Oh
report.
man,
Uh,
I don't. How am I? We're doing all right. We've been sick. We were pretty sick, but doing a
mhm.
lot better. Yeah, we got a little vacation plan coming up
Oh
here
yeah.
at the end of it's just a 4 day little vacation thing plan. We're gonna go down to the Oregon coast
Nice.
once the
Ah,
kids get out of
beautiful there.
school. Oh, I love it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Go
some
see some
cool stuff like that.
lighthouses.
Yeah.
That's what they say over here. I'm, East Coast
uh,
here. Go
okay.
see the lighthouses.
Yeah.
Oh, cool,
We're
man.
gonna go eat some cheese.
Ah,
You
yes,
know,
as one does.
go down to Tillamook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe some ice
They have
cream
a great
too.
little, oh yeah. Some cheese, some ice cream. Did you know? Okay. Did you know? Little factoid about the town we're going to be staying in. We're going to be staying in Rockaway Beach, Oregon.
Okay. I know nothing about Rockaway Beach, Oregon.
It's sort of between, you know, Tillamook and sort of some of the more famous, beach resort kind of places. It's a very
Okay.
chill little beach resort town. Love it. But in Rockaway Beach is where there's a restaurant at which the corn dog was invented.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, it's still there. It's called Pronto Pup.
Auto pup.
Pronto Pup. And we are
Huh.
definitely going to get some corn dogs
Gonna
while we
Google
were in
that one.
Rockaway Beach.
Yeah, you pretty
Yep.
much have to.
Yeah.
Um, wow, what a weird claim to fame. That's
I
a good
know,
one.
right? They got
Yeah.
yeah, they really got nothing else, you know.
I
And
wonder if it's one of
The
yeah.
Ramones song isn't even named after them. It's named after the Rockaway Beach, like in New York. So, you know,
Uh,
so they got one thing,
and it's corn
corn
dogs.
dogs. It's yeah,
Oh,
one thing, and it's corn dogs.
good for them.
But it's a
Why
pretty
not?
chill little town. We like it. So yeah, we're not gonna do whiskey as I noted tonight, just because we're both getting over some health shit. We're both, you know, just sometimes you're just not really like able to do it. You know what I mean? It's good to listen to your body. So
Yep. Yep. Got to do it. Got to
there are
protect the
some
body.
whiskeys. I'll say there are some whiskeys I'm looking forward to doing little tastings of that I've got on
Oh.
my shelf. Some that got opened fairly recently, like in the last couple months, and some that have not even been opened yet. So yeah, so at some point, I am going to get back to, or we are going to get back to, trying a dram or two.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, uh, just hang tight. So
Yep. Hang tight. Also, same. I'm moving, so
yeah,
yeah, we'll see. Good times are
yeah.
coming though. We're gonna be to get like in the same time zone and in
We'll
cities
probably be
close
in
to
the
each other.
same. We'll probably be in the same room sometimes. Figure out a
Yeah.
way to do like a little podcast, like in the same place, and then we'll both
Mhm.
try the thing at the same time. It'll be a whole thing.
Yeah.
Just to dive into the Wheel of Time cancellation subject. I just really quick want to recount the basics. Uh, my understanding is, and there's some sources out there that have said basically this decision was about the financials. The show was very expensive. The show cost hundreds of millions of dollars to produce the 3 seasons. I don't think the official number is out there, but numbers have come out over the years, and they are well into the hundreds of millions of dollars. I've seen some people quote much higher numbers, even, which are crazy if they're true, but
Wow.
the sort of most credible numbers are in the hundreds of millions.
Wow.
Most of that, of course, going to things like special effects and sets and the big stuff.
Right.
As far as it being canceled due to the financials, you can kind of read into that and say essentially the ratings weren't good enough to justify that big giant chunk of money that was being spent on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's a fair assessment of that?
Well, maybe. The ironic part about that, and I think there might be some extra background to it, is they had the best ratings ever for the third season.
The
It was the
best
highest
ratings
rated season.
ever for Wheel of Time.
Yeah, for the show, the third
Yeah.
season had the best ratings. So it kind of makes me wonder if maybe this decision was made a bit ago, because season two had that they didn't have great ratings. They had a huge fall off.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hit it out of the park ratings wise for season three. Um,
I actually have seen some numbers that indicated that while it did better, it
mhm.
would not, in terms of like Nielsen ratings, like Nielsen streaming ratings and stuff, it
Yeah.
actually, while it did better, and while it did better compared to some other things that were airing it, like on Amazon, like so for an Amazon show, it was doing pretty well.
Hmm.
I had seen some stuff about the Nielsen ratings that indicated that it was not that successful as a show in the context of big budget, streaming, sort of those big, what's the word for it? My brain is trying to say the wrong word, and I know it's the wrong word. Do you ever have that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. All
Like,
the time. Yeah.
oh God, but the
No.
sort of the premier big shows that are out there, it's um,
Yeah.
compared to those other big premier shows, that it just wasn't doing very well.
Yeah. Well, didn't we talk
Uh,
about that a couple episodes ago? The
we
the
did.
ratings didn't seem to reflect how we felt about the show.
Yeah, and
And
I think they do from certain perspectives and in certain frame of references, and this has all sort of come out since the cancellation, where
Mhm.
people are kind of trying to look at sort of a more nuanced way, sort of like, why did this get canceled? Uh, and so, in one sense, the show was doing better.
Mhm.
In some other senses, it wasn't really doing that much better, and it wasn't doing well enough to justify the gobs of money that it was costing and would cost going forward. I think that Amazon was staring down the barrel of, okay, we're in for this much. We've we've done that. We're 3 seasons in. How much is it going to cost to do Fires of Heaven?
Mhm.
It's going to cost a shitload to do Fires of Heaven. I mean, Fires of Heaven is like, in the same way that like Shadow Rising like ramps everything up to 11, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Fires of Heaven's big.
Fires of Heaven is big.
Deal.
It's epic. It takes it to the next level. A lot of these early books, or I guess a lot of these sort of middle books do this, where they just everything gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think at some point, I think Amazon's looking at this, going, we were willing to give that like 3 season shot. We
Yeah.
know the budget's going to go way, way, way up from here. It's just, yeah, it's doing a little better, but it's just not doing well enough to justify
Yeah.
hundreds of millions more dollars. At least that's the sense that I got from everything that I've read.
Well, and
Um,
your instincts are right. I think with Amazon, it's about the money. Um, and if they can make the money, they're driven by that. You can see it across their whole business structure, and we could do a whole podcast on uh, the writing, on different aspects that maybe weren't working. But I think
mhm.
I think you're right, man. I think when it came down to it, it's not profitable enough to warrant the cost. And I'm not
Yeah.
surprised, man. I mean, and that was one of the coolest parts of the show, like filming on location in these
Yeah.
wonderful places. Pretty decent CGI. It's got that kind of bloated cost thing that's going on in a lot of ways in modern filmmaking.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think you're spot on with that.
Yeah. I can't remember where I had read it, but at some point I had read basically that the execs found nothing wrong with the show
Mhm.
in terms of the quality of the content. I mean, I do, but I'm not the people holding the purse strings, right? I'm just a jerk on the internet criticizing other people's hard work, right? You know, they were not upset about that. They were not upset about the quality. They were upset
Right.
basically that it didn't hit that big,
Yeah.
essentially, and that it wasn't worth continuing to spend that kind of money for something that wasn't hitting the way they hoped. So,
Man. I just did a quick Google search here. I'm seeing 130 million per season.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So like I said, well into the hundreds of millions for the
Mhm.
for the total package.
Man.
Um, big budget stuff.
And this is and just for some scope too, I'm finding this also. That's like per episode is around $16 million with an M,
Yeah.
which is roughly twice what it was for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So just from that, if you're looking at it from a cost, quality ratio, Game of Thrones was huge. Everybody loved it. They made it for half the cost.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, seems
Yeah.
like it
Yeah. It's
seems like an
wild.
easy burn. Yeah, it is wild.
The crazy thing to me isn't that Wheel of Time got canceled. It makes
Mhm.
perfect sense. Of course it
Yeah,
got canceled. The crazy thing to me is that Rings of Power, another Amazon show, is still going. It's fucking
yeah,
terrible. It's why it's way more expensive. I mean, but it may be one of those things where they're giving him like one more season. They gave Wheel of Time 3 seasons. Maybe they're giving that 3 seasons. I don't fucking know. But I mean, Rings of Power is horrifically bad. I can't see it continuing. I'm shocked it made a third. I'm shocked they're making a third season.
I'm
If
so,
I'm honest.
I've tried to watch it twice, and I'm not a Lord of the Rings person. Uh, I'm just I watched the trilogy and stuff.
Sure,
I
sure, sure, sure.
I just I can't watch it.
It's unwatchable. I could not finish the second season of Rings of
Yeah,
Power. It's just unwatchably bad.
like,
Um, Crystal finished it.
they're still going.
Yeah, they're still going. It did not get the axe, and it ought to because it's really atrocious. And if I had to pick one to get canceled, if I just like, okay, you get to save one, you get to cancel one. Honestly, I would save Wheel of Time despite all its flaws.
Mhm.
It's for as blah as the first, as kind of bad as the first two seasons were, and as like mid as the third season was. Like it's still every single season of Wheel of Time is a vastly superior show to the Rings of Power. It's just
Oh
that, but
man,
I just
yeah,
wanted
I'll
to
hate
give
watch
some
it.
context,
Yeah,
right? I just wanted to sort of bring in some context for big
yeah,
fantasy Amazon big budget shows, right?
yeah,
Like, so I find that decision interesting. We'll just say I find that decision
yeah.
interesting.
It is right, man. Oh, because I was going to say I'd rather hate watch Wheel of Time than bored not watch Lord of the Rings. Um, you know, and if you're going for engagement,
Mhm.
that is one of the things they had going for it. I think there was a lot of conversation, a lot of heat, a lot of hot, like talking back and forth with people about the love hate relationship. And even us, we're sitting here bitching about it on podcast every week, but we're still watching every episode. We're there,
Mhm. Yeah.
and we're shaking our heads and being like, ugh, by the end of the episode. But man, that day would come up. It's real time day. Let's watch it,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna love every second of it.
Yeah. And really, my problem with the Wheel of Time show is mostly to do with some of the decision making. There was a lot of the quality that was there in a lot of regards with that show.
Yeah, they had
It
a
was
lot of good
mostly
ingredients.
it. There
Yeah.
were a lot of good ingredients. They just kind of like ruined the dish with a few shitty ingredients. Like
Uh,
sometimes you do that where you're like, oh, we spent all this time and effort and all this shit. But the
mhm.
cheese, we just decided to make it American cheese for no reason.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's got its place in the world, but like it's like,
Also, we're going to change it to Monte Cristo instead of whatever, just
yeah,
because like Monte Cristo. Also, we're going to. Oh, I like to see the Sanderson post about.
yeah.
Uh,
I wanted to get there. That's actually,
yeah. Well,
uh,
before getting there, with
yeah,
our lovely idiom we're creating, which I know it's before dinner for you, so
yeah.
hope you
Maybe
get
that's
the
why I'm
stuff going.
hungry.
Yeah, it'd be like you open a restaurant and you're like, this restaurant is honoring this famous chef, and then you change all of his main dishes to be your dishes, and then you hire like Bobby Flay or whatever to
You hire your boyfriend.
yeah, you hire your boyfriend,
Did you know? Did you
and
aware of
then
that?
no,
Rafe Judkins hire. Yeah, okay, we can get into that shit too. Oh my
ooh man,
god.
you got some good scuttlebutt.
Yeah,
But
Crystal actually brought that one up to me. Crystal actually brought that one up to me. She was like,
go Crystal.
yeah, she was like, "Did you hear about this thing?" And yeah, we'll get into that. I had not heard about it.
Gotcha.
I'm slipping.
Oh
uh,
no, it takes. Uh, but yeah the Sanderson thing is without getting too into it because we'll go into it. But it's like hiring someone to consult or to kind of bring some gravitas to your restaurant, and then turns out they have nothing to do with the restaurant, and you ignore their advice.
mhm.
So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff to go to. I think that's my big beef too because it's a micro. It's everything goes from there. Everything spreads from these people who are making the decision,
Yeah.
and including the final version of the script, decisions for characters, which I also have problems with. I mean, the decision to have Perrin A have a wife and then B kill that wife and then three not have any character growth from that. Just one thing of many.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, before we do that or get too many, I don't want to go off the rails here. Um, yeah, so Scuttlebutt. Yeah, we got. I haven't heard that about the lover. Is it the
Well,
lover or the point? What's going on?
let's get into before we get into that because we'll get in. I have like there's something I thought was really interesting, and it
Mm-hmm.
speaks to the decision making. Is I want to quote Brandon Sanderson because he went on the
Ooh,
record about the show.
yeah, that's a good quote.
This is a quote. I'm not going to read like the whole thing, but he on his own YouTube channel, so you can go right now to Brandon Sanderson's YouTube channel and pull up this whole statement, among other things. He put out a YouTube video on it. And he said, I do think it's a shame of the show. He's the cancellation. He said, I do think it's a shame, as while I had my problems with the show, it had a fan base who deserved better than a cancellation after the best season. I won't miss being largely ignored. They
Oh,
wanted my name on it for legitimacy, but
ouch.
not to involve me in any meaningful way.
And you guys had for Brandon Sanderson. That's like this is like the nicest dude in the world. He's so nice, and he's super cool, super chill. He doesn't say negative stuff about things. It's like, oh, when I read that,
Yeah.
yeah,
That
that's
is
harsh.
as harsh as Brandon Sanderson is ever going to get towards
Mm-hmm.
somebody.
Yeah,
He is like the epitome of like Mormon nice.
yeah. Ah, super
I mean,
nice.
he's like super nice by all accounts. I've never met him, but by all accounts, he's like just ridiculously nice and like just a really good dude. And for him to come out and say it, he's not like somebody's like us who's gonna like sit there and like rant about shit and complain about shit, like and just like let it all out there. Like he's not that kind of guy. So
Yeah.
for him to go out and say that is fucking devastating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so basically, Rafe Judkins wanted Brandon Sanderson there to legitimate his shitty fucking decisions.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Ugh, which tracks.
It really does.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
also brings me. I want to bring up the scuttlebutt now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I'm monopolizing
Oh no.
monopolizing.
Before you do that, I did want to. I remember it's the end of season two. I think the fight where the horn was blown.
Mm-hmm.
That was also the first time we started hearing some rumblings out of Sanderson. And it got had me thinking back to that because it
Yeah,
was a similar deal where he had to fight for it and he really pushed for it.
yeah,
And they gave that was their
yeah,
scene. And
yeah,
yeah, so it's not kind of the first time, but yeah, it's really sad that they didn't learn from that or go anywhere from that. They continued to
yeah.
ignore this amazing resource that they had.
For real. I mean,
Yeah,
he wrote three of the books in the fucking series.
yeah. Hey, he was entrusted
Like
to be the
he
guy who
wrote three
carries
of the
on.
books. He's
Yeah.
yeah, he's literally like one of the authors of Wheel of Time. I mean, I believe that if Robert Jordan were alive, Rafe Judkins would have ignored his advice
Probably.
because he's arrogant. There's just a level of arrogance, and we'll get into the and
Yeah.
I do not say that lightly. There is
Hmm.
arrogance there.
Hmm. I think that.
The scuttlebutt
Yeah, it's just
that I
scuttlebutt.
didn't actually know about, and it pisses me off. Like it's unethical. This is
Hmm.
what I think a lot of people don't know this, but apparently Rafe Judkins is in a relationship with Taylor Napier. Taylor Napier plays the role of Maxim on the show. Maxim is the warder of Alana that lives.
No shit. I mean, he's a made up. Oh God! Wow.
The warders of Alana are, but are minor characters in the books, right?
Yeah.
The warders of Alana are minor characters.
The show version is basically a revision, a whole new imagining of the character.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, he's basically his own new character.
And so he cast his boyfriend
Oh, huh.
as a character that's normal, like pretty minor in the books, and like it's like you said, it's a complete reimagining of this warder character, and then boosted his role significantly, where he essentially becomes a major character.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the fact that he did this, I mean, is wildly unethical in the sense that like it's he's boosting his own significant other's role in this major show.
Yeah.
He's like giving him screen time, giving him shit to do. I mean, we were complaining in the season 3, was it the part 2 season 3 episode? We were bitching about the fact that
Mm-hmm.
Tam was cut to give Maxim this role that I think we called him Ivan in the. I think we got the name wrong. It's the other Werner Maxim who
Yeah.
gets this role, which is essentially as the trainer for the soldiers of Two Rivers, right?
Hmm.
The character like nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Like Tam did that,
Yeah.
right? And so they've cut this major character in order to shoehorn in his boyfriend's character into the show.
Man.
His decision making is arrogant. It's wrong. Like it's fucked up. It's actually like you are literally taking roles from other actors. Not
Hmm.
even because I'm not even talking about characters really. Like you make the changes to the characters you want, but you're taking roles and screen time and line time and all this other shit from
Hmm.
actual fucking, good actors who are supposed to be in this role and you're giving it to your boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's
It,
not
it,
okay.
yeah. And even if it was done on the level, it's still not. I mean, it's like ethics 101. It's the question is still there. Like, did they just do that because of the relationship? Um, and I'm kind of agree with you. They had a wonderful actor for Tam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe they were over budget. Maybe it was a way to save on some cash, um, or something. But
Well, you
they
had $200 million for the season or whatever.
yeah, they
So
already blew it on the
cash
when.
should not be the for an
Oh no,
actor is
when Nynaeve
fucking
came out of the water
pennies.
there, that was
Oh,
it.
god damn it.
And cubic foot of water thing she came out of. Um, Elysees.
Uh,
But no, I'm with you, man. That's wow. I didn't know that. It's not
I
surprising to me.
was fucking shocked
Yeah,
when I was reading this. Anyway, I just think it
yeah.
points to this kind of bad decision making, arrogance, narcissism. It it's just ridiculous.
Hmm.
Uh, and it made the show worse. I mean, you could say,
Yeah,
okay, well, you do this thing. Yeah, okay, it's my significant other, but they're fucking awesome. It's making the show better. Okay. But it didn't. It fucking made it worse.
yeah. And I looked actually looked it up. There was no Maxim in the stories, by the way. He was a made up character. It was Owen
Yeah.
and something else. And
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. It's
so
even
it was a
worse.
crafted character.
He invented a character for his boyfriend and then shoehorned him into a whole bunch of shit.
And so at its base, right, it was a kind of ill-informed, iffy decision
I
that
don't know. I don't know. He
did
created a character for his boyfriend. It's not an iffy decision.
well,
It's like
right.
straight up.
I'm just looking at decision making wise. You can
Okay.
extrapolate
Yes.
this to the whole series. For example, I think the parent killing the wife thing might be my most hated thing that they did. I hated it. It was either that or Gwyn killing the Damane, like murdering her.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that, but it was the same thing we've been talking about this whole time. It's decisions made that are just changes that don't actually add anything. They actually subtract, and they seem arbitrary and
Mm-hmm.
disrespectful to the source material. And honestly, so I think that's where arrogance comes in. Here you have this guy who I think is being disrespectful to everyone on the set, all of the viewers by making these decisions.
Yeah.
And it trickles down from him. Um, I think that's might just be why there's a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouth with it. I'm really disappointed. I'm not surprised to hear about that. But blech.
All of these decisions led to these weaker ratings than were expected
Yeah.
and alienated alienated all of your fans, all your built-in fan base,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the whole reason you adapt something instead of come up with original material
Yeah.
is so that you have a built-in fan base. This is why I mean this is why the executives like making and adapting like these books, right? They like adapting shit because
Mm-hmm.
when they do that, if there's a million people that read the book, that's in theory, most of that bulk will at least be interested in the show.
Yeah.
Where, so they do this on purpose. But then if you go and you make all these changes, you alienate your whole fan base, your whole built-in fan base, and you just maybe some of them are like, oh, I'm okay with the changes and they like it, but a lot of them Don't. Uh, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. And I think that's what happened,
Yeah.
honestly. I think after 3 seasons, the ratings were not as good as they could be.
Mhm.
Not nearly. This could have been bigger than Game of Thrones in terms of the source material. And it just wasn't. It wasn't even anywhere near as good as that.
Yeah.
And I think the ratings weren't. And I think the ratings, are a reflection of book readers in the early days of the show, in particular, getting fed up and frustrated and annoyed and just disappointed
Mhm.
with the adaptation. And this is actually got to attribute this to Crystal also. We were talking about this. She had some a good zinger here, which is, you know, the book readers are the conductors of the hype train. Okay.
I like that.
So look, if book readers aren't on board the hype train, like it's not getting out of the station, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. I just think Rafe Judkins, Amazon, they've got no one to blame but themselves for this. I don't know if Amazon is blaming anybody. They're probably blaming Rafe. I think it all just squarely falls right at his feet.
Mhm. Yeah, it has to. Yeah. I wasn't impressed with the interviews I saw of him too.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he's talking about the show, I had to turn it off. I couldn't listen to him speak. Yeah, and I don't know. Who knows when there's that much money and all that power involved? Who knows what happens to blame and all that? All I can speak for is myself, and I blame him 100%. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, for sure.
I think leadership is a top down thing, and if the
Yep.
showrunner is doing the kind of stuff that Rafe was doing, uh, it's going to affect the ratings. And so that, our hypothesis earlier that, Amazon is all about the money and cash and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I think Rafe squandered what could have been a monster. I'm talking spin-off shows. Um, it could have been a
Yep.
thing. People could have merchandise, and they burned it all to the ground.
It's very frustrating. I There's another thing that I think is interesting to quote from Rafe,
Mm-hmm.
where he was asked, about why it got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and he said, "The truth is, I don't know."
Hmm.
And he talked about the quality of the show, the ratings, and just, I genuinely kind of think he's living in a fucking fantasy world. Not like a
Mm-hmm.
good Wheel of Time fantasy world, but like
The bad.
fucking, well, just like the kind where you're just like, he's in a bubble,
Yeah.
right? Like he's in a bubble of people who are patting him on the back saying, "Great job, Rafe," but then he gets fucking canceled
Yeah.
by Amazon because it's not doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, so again, that's where the arrogance pops in. That's why I couldn't watch him talk.
Yeah.
Whenever he
Yeah.
talk, he's just arrogant, man. He's talking about these things, and he does the thing where he kind of rolls his eyes a little bit when he's and this is
Mm-hmm.
why we had to make the decision to do this, and just he's got that messiah thing where it's like, okay, he's saying this is his thing, and I can totally see that environment where people, it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to speak truth to that kind of power, because yeah, they don't really take responsibility, maybe, without getting into the his psyche.
Yeah.
um it's very easy to see that being the vibe on the show. um
Yeah. Definitely seemed like there was a lack of sort of personal accountability in some of the stuff that he said after the show got axed.
yeah.
Obviously there is accountability. The accountability is the show's done,
Yeah.
right? Amazon's done paying for it. That's a kind of accountability, but he's not taking responsibility for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I get well, have some fucking self awareness, dude.
Yeah. Oh man, that really helped me too. If I would have a much better opinion of Rafe if he just went out and said it, say, hey, I made some decisions for the show. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I would have done them in retrospect. I
Yep.
don't think that I don't think we honored the material enough, and
Yeah.
anything.
Anything.
Okay, thank God he knows.
Yeah. And I think, if he had come out and been had any sort of self-awareness, I'd be like, well, it's dang. That's too bad. But I don't think he was ready for this job.
Mm.
If you look at his resume, his filmography, there's nothing really. I mean, there's some writer's credits. He did some stuff for Agents of Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wrote on a few things. Nothing that would indicate to you the man's going to nail it on a $500 million endeavor, you know, potentially decade long, fantasy show. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing in there to be like, oh yeah, this is the guy. He must have had a hell of a pitch.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He
Yeah. He
must have
must
had
have.
a hell of a pitch
Yeah. He
because
did talk
that
a lot of
shit
shit about being a
is,
book reader and stuff, you know.
yeah,
And he's around our age. I looked, he was born in 83.
yeah,
So he's the right age to have grown up with it.
yeah.
Um,
I don't doubt that he read some of it. Um, he talked about some of those moments early on in the sort of process. He talked about wanting to get to some of those moments in the show, like the Do My Wells and some other shows, like some other bits like that, and wanting to bring those to the screen. But like,
mhm.
you got to do better to get there. I mean, that's so far in.
It's been hard. This whole experience has been so weird too, because the internet is just strange because we have our takes, we have kind of our experience. I mean, even between you and I, we have these, the different pronunciations and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you go on the internet and you find these people. I mean, I read takes all the time on Wheel of Time where I'm like, where the fuck are you getting that from? That never happened. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? That's not a thing. Just read the damn book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is just a reminder that it's like an in our face reminder that there are people out there who have lots of money and who make shows that think they know all kinds of stuff, but they might have a completely different take.
They drive their cars until the oil explodes the engine.
Yes, my God, yeah, for real. They just have a whole different
It's a whole different frame
yeah, frame of reference
frame
for
of
life.
reference. Yeah.
Yeah, which I guess is the humbling take on it, uh, but yeah, and yeah, that kind of blows my mind too. So you got an Amazon, you got hundreds of millions of dollars. Hire a showrunner with some experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
maybe since that's like some Silicon Valley shit where you're doing like a venture capitalist guy. Uh, nah, get someone who's solid, who's got some background. And yeah, I looked. Yeah, we got Uncharted, Agents of Shield, Hemlock Grove, Honor, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And some of those are writing only. Some of them are writing and like,
Mm-hmm.
some minor like production credits and so it's not like he hadn't done anything, but like
Mm-hmm.
he had not done anything that led me to believe if I just read that would lead me to believe this man is going to be able to pull off one of the hardest things to make.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you talk about things that are potentially unfilmable,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is one of those things people talk about as potentially unfilmable. Is he the guy that's going to make the unfilmable? Like people talked about Dune kind of being unfilmable, and oh well, Denis Villeneuve or whatever Villeneuve. I don't fucking
I
know how to
still don't know
pronounce
how
it.
to
I
say his
still
name.
don't know how to say it. I've heard it. I've heard it.
Denis Denis Villeneuve.
Anyway,
Denis Villeneuve.
you know, he'd made some amazing things. You could, some visually stunning things, some amazing storytelling. Like you could see it when they hired him to do the Dune movies, right? You could see like this guy could make something tremendous. This guy, fucking, you kidding me? No,
Yeah, yeah,
no, he does not have the resume to back up the claim that he can make this.
yeah,
And they threw
yeah,
hundreds of millions of dollars fucking at him anyway. It's crazy.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Did you ever have that moment like so we are Gus and I are also nowhere near qualified to do it with our background. But
Yeah.
also when I was watching this, I both Katie and I had just looked at each other and like, dude, we could write a better episode than this. We are not trained writers. But that was the thing. That's what our thinking was. It's like even us without our training, I think I could still write a better episode. I think I could still,
Hmm.
and you know, I guess I'm going to whisper this into the microphone, like like Joe Biden style, because I would follow the source material. Boom, that's it. That's my
Yep,
writing.
I
That would be
agree.
my thing.
I've thought about like what would happen if somebody just like sat down and literally turned like just Eye of the World into one giant script that is actually just Eye of the World
Mm.
and then made that. Would it really be so terrible? I mean, you could start cutting things out, make it a little leaner, but like, would it really be so bad if you just made the thing? For the most part, that's what Harry Potter fucking did, and it's great. The
Mm.
movies, I mean, like,
Mm.
there are some changes. Oh no, they got rid of the fucking Halloween ghost party thing. Like,
They did though. Yeah, they were faithful.
they were really
Uh,
faithful, and I mean,
good job.
they did a great job.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I have a good example for something that's not so faithful, but it's still good. We started watching The Expanse,
yeah,
which is another Amazon show,
hmm
which also is very different from the source material. It's like super dramatic, like over dramatic, like
hmm
needlessly, and they have some changes to the character because they have to show growth. It's still a fun show to watch,
yeah, it's still great.
and it went on for 8 seasons.
Hmm.
And yeah, so
And
I'm
I
just
I
yeah.
actually want to use that to segue
Ooh,
into one of my final things that I want to. There's
still in
two
sync,
more
Gus. We're
things I want
still
to
in
talk about
sync.
because The Expanse is actually a prime example. The Expanse got canceled. The show got canceled. The fans did what? They started a petition.
Mm-hmm.
They collected about 140,000 signatures,
Mm-hmm.
and then Amazon decided to pick up the last few seasons.
Is that official?
Well, no, it's over. I mean, it's over now.
So I
It
thought
got
they
canceled after like 3 seasons. The Expanse did.
So I thought they stopped short of the end of the thing. They kept
They
it
did.
going
No,
for
no, no.
five
They did.
seasons.
Yeah. So I'm not talking about future seasons. The show got canceled. The show had a few seasons. It
Mm-hmm.
got canceled. Fans did a fan campaign, signature campaign. Show came back. When
Yeah,
Amazon hit that pick up the seasons button on that show because Sci-Fi had canceled it, right?
yeah.
When Amazon picked it up, it had 130,000 signatures, 140,000, something like that, rounded up 140. The fan petition for Wheel of Time hit 150,000 signatures the other day.
Whoa. So who knows what the future may hold?
Yeah,
Yeah,
who knows? It's
it's interesting.
possible. It's possible that all this discussion is moot. It's possible it gets picked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's also possible they're like, yeah, but the Expanse only cost us $50 million a year to make. This is costing us 200 million a year. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh man,
But anything's
yeah.
possible.
Anything is, and you know what? If someone picked it up again, I would totally hate watch it. I'd
Yeah,
be right there.
I would really prefer if Rafe Judkins uh wasn't the showrunner anymore, but who the hell knows?
Yeah, who knows? Um,
But I just found that interesting. I just found that interesting. And
mhm.
and it was something I noted when I was doing notes for this. And I was like, well, what other shows what have been
Yeah,
brought back due to fan campaigns and what fan campaigns have failed and what are the sort of thresholds, what numbers are people we looking at. And it was really interesting to see that Expanse one where
yeah.
Amazon picked it up at 140K.
Mm-hmm.
But I will note, Bezos himself was a huge Expanse fan.
Yeah, that probably helps.
It probably helped a lot. I don't know if
Yeah,
he's a huge Wheel of Time fan. And if he is, he probably doesn't like what was being done to it. So,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, yeah, it does help to be being good with the boss. Talking ethics. Go with that where you will, but um, yeah, there's a couple other shows I can think of that have been doing that. You don't see it all the time though.
yeah.
It's pretty rare for it to get picked up. Um,
Yeah. Like Firefly got the movie Serenity. That was largely
Yeah.
due to a fan came write-in campaign.
Mhm.
There've been some others. I had a list.
Did you ever watch Venture
I had
Brothers
a
back in the
list.
day?
Yep.
Yeah, they had a
Yeah, loved it.
final.
Hilarious.
Yeah, they got a final movie out of it too,
Yeah.
pretty recently. Um, yeah, a few different shows. So yeah, it can happen. It just yeah, they like you said, they shot themselves in the foot a little bit because you got people like us who it's a love hate thing. It's like I don't know. Are you
Mm.
gonna if you're gonna bring it back? Are you gonna have this dude on there? Are you gonna just ruin the material again? Like I
Yeah.
don't want that. Um, but also yeah, it's nice. I hate seeing it die. It's such a cool franchise.
Yeah.
Um, and it's more than just liking the thing. I think it's got value to it beyond. I think it's got cultural value to it too. It's got a perspective on it that I think is important for people to read and get into. I think there's value to it. I love the coming of age. I love the growth that all the characters grow through. There's a lot about life in the books. There's a lot about the human condition and what it means to be a human, what it means to love, what it means to hate, what it means to uh, have conflict. Um, there's just so much to it, and just to see it kind of watered down to a like an overly dramatic poop show. I don't know if I want to see that,
Yeah.
but but I would still watch it over Lord of the Rings.
At the end of it all, the end of the
Mm-hmm.
show, uh, I'm mostly just kind of left sad
Yeah, I feel
rather
sad
than
too.
rather than angry. I'm sad at the wasted potential,
Disappointed, a little
at
bit disappointed.
wasted opportunity,
Yeah.
sad for the people who just lost their dream jobs
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of people who were really talented who worked on this show. And it was probably the thing they most wanted to work on in this whole world because they're Wheel of Time fans. And I know a bunch of people just got laid off from working on Wheel of Time. And that sucks for every single one of them. They probably
Yep.
loved it. Or maybe not. I don't know. But they probably were just in heaven working on friggin' Wheel of Time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sad that it was all a failure.
Dude, like the costume designer,
Mm-hmm.
like you know how much fun they had making the designs for Landfear and stuff, and
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
swoopy things, and yeah, there was some obviously super talented people. Like, you can tell we're both dads. We're like, I'm not angry. I'm sad and disappointed. I
Yeah.
don't know
And well, yeah, I know. I mean, I am. And ultimately I'm
yeah,
sad because this was the shot, honestly. Like that we're probably not going to get another shot at Wheel of Time for
yeah.
decades. I could see it being 20, 30 years. We might not be alive for the next
Oh
shot that
man,
Wheel of Time gets. It
oh
could be,
man.
I think at best, we're looking at a situation where, how many years were there between the Dune adaptations?
Yeah, but good 40 years, man. With the
Yeah.
whispers,
Yeah. It was
spice.
around the time that I was born, roughly ish. And
Yeah,
then now, we got him 40 years later, basically.
yeah.
And like I really think that it's probably going to be that long before somebody's willing to give it a shot again. And that makes me sad. Whether I get
Makes
to
me
see it or
sad
not,
too.
that makes me sad.
Yeah, we just gotta wait for Denis Vinuela to come around.
uh,
He'll save us in like 10 years.
yeah,
Well,
I don't
man,
think I don't think we're going to
yeah,
get another shot at that.
yeah.
As
I
fans, I
can't see
mean,
it.
it's so much money. I mean, you got to have a backer like Amazon.
Yes.
It's anything
Yeah.
less, you're not going to get it done.
Yeah.
So, maybe we'll get an animated version at some point. That would be
Hmm.
better than nothing. But
There are ways it could be adapted in some way, shape, or form.
mhm,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that looks like.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I'd love to see. Man, even the animated miniseries would be cool. There's some excellent animation possibilities. There's maybe smaller spin-off projects you could do. Um, it could work,
yeah, yeah. We'll see.
but uh,
We'll see if something else happens. But But,
Yeah,
at
the
this point,
ambitious broad wheel of time. Like I don't know.
yeah,
Oof,
I'm
hard to
not gonna
see
hold
it.
my breath. I wish there'd be somebody else, willing.
All right, man.
All
Hey,
right.
thanks for taking time to chat about it and bitch about it a
Yeah.
little bit.
Likewise.
Yeah.
And thank you all for listening.
Yeah, thanks,
Hope you have
guys.
a good night and hope to see you on the next one.
Stay gold. Stay gold.